Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. It's almost July. Holy cow.
Wow.
28th. I'm just looking at my calendar here because we got a guest coming up later in the program. Dr. Greg Wells. He's got a book called The Ripple Effect. And it's funny because I used to work with a guy named Greg Wells, but it's not this guy. This guy's a doctor. The guy that I used to work with, not a doctor. So this, I think, is kind of cool, too. We have a quote. Plant your garden and decorate your own soul instead of waiting for someone to bring you flowers.
Okay.
Jose Luis Borges. I like that. Plant your garden and decorate your own soul instead of waiting for someone to bring flowers. So they're saying, just don't wait around for somebody else to do something good for you. Do good things for yourself.
I've got a quote.
What's your quote?
Find someone who will love you for no reason and then shower them with reasons.
I like that quote. We just saw that on something. What was that on?
Last Man Standing.
Oh, is that what it was on?
Yeah.
I knew it was on something.
Awesome show.
I knew it was on something good.
That is a great, I love that.
Funny
I love
thing
that
is,
quote. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is a good quote. It's a good show. We never watched it until we heard it was being canceled. Then somebody was
I
telling
know,
us,
now
you guys
we're
would love
hooked.
that. Now we've been watching it. I was like, why haven't I
That's
been watching this?
It's a great show.
So for all of you who told me we should be watching it all along,
You were
thank
right.
you. You should have told me one more time. Coming up, some special things happening today. We'll tell you about that in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Well, I thought you'd never ask. I have to pace myself here. It is Wednesday, June the 28th, and I have plenty of time to talk because there's only two things going on today. International Body Piercing Day, which I don't have anything pierced.
I had my ears pierced, but I haven't worn earrings for years.
I had one ear pierced for like an hour and a half. I came home and my dad said, you taking it out or am I taking it out? I was like, I'll take that out. And today is also National Parchment Cooking Day today.
Huh.
So is that the paper, that parchment,
parchment
paper?
paper.
So do you cook on that?
Mm-hmm.
You put that in the oven?
Yeah.
Really?
For certain things,
I
like
didn't
sticky
know that.
cookies and stuff like that. You put
I
it under there.
didn't know you actually put it in the oven.
Yeah.
So you cook on that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like for cooling and for, I don't know what I thought. I clearly didn't know. I'm glad it's got a day. Now I know. And now you know. On this Wednesday, the 28th day of June.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at ChannelSurferTV.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Got a story about a hero, Heidi.
Okay.
A Berlin florist stopped an out-of-control bus. She didn't reach out and stop it with her hand. No, she drove her car in front of an out-of-control bus and let her car get smashed to bits. Police say Gabrielle Killick is a hero for driving her car in front of a bus, which was traveling at 45 miles an hour. The bus driver had collapsed at the wheel from a stroke with his foot stuck against the accelerator. Gabrielle decided that she had to act. The bus was headed toward a busy intersection, so she sped up, got her Nissan Almera right in front of the bus, and then hit the brakes, and she got smacked into the back of her, rammed. Imagine getting rammed by a bus.
Bet she got whiplash.
Well, she says, I saw it was the only way to slow it down. I passed the bus, and I could see the driver slumped over at the wheel. I put on the brakes.
Nobody on the bus could help?
Apparently
That's
not.
ridiculous.
Says I put on the brakes in front and just waited for the bus to hit me. Then, when it rammed into the back of me, I kept on the brakes until the bus became slower and slower and finally stopped after almost half a kilometer. That's a long way.
She's lucky there wasn't a bomb on that bus and that she was responsible for blowing everybody up because they dropped below
the plot to speed.
45 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing, though.
She should have thought about that.
She
It could
probably
have been bad.
Yeah, maybe she's not seeing that over there in Germany. It's in Berlin where this happened. Well, police say she prevented a disaster and probably saved the life of the 50-year-old bus driver as well. The bus was headed for one of the busiest intersections in the city at rush hour in the evening. According to the police, loss of life and multiple injuries would most likely have been inevitable. Mrs. Killick, if she had not acted, these people would all have been in a lot of trouble. Everybody on that intersection, definitely the guy in the bus, and all because a florist swooped in and saved the day. She did something heroic in her little flower
Good for
mobile.
her.
I sure hope they pay for a new car. Hers is all smushed up. Brakes are no good anymore. Smoked out. Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs. But this deal here, you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. In addition to not operating heavy equipment, maybe you should also put another label on there. Do not commit burglary after taking this medication. Advice like that could have meant maybe freedom for Bonifay, Florida's Patrick Richard Hazel. A resident arrived to their home to find Mr. Hazel sleeping on his bed. And
this happens a lot.
Mr. Hazel also had this occupant's loaded .22 caliber handgun and some other items that he planned on taking from the house. Hazel later told jailers that he had taken a large number of muscle relaxants before attempting the crime. Apparently, he was trying to take the edge off. He didn't just take the edge off. He took the edge, the middle, the top, the bottom, and everything off.
Burglary must be exhausting.
Apparently, because we've had stories.
This happens all the time.
Yeah, there are people who they get drowsy in the middle of robbing stuff, and then they decide to curl up and take a nap.
And it must make you hungry because they also break into people's houses and just
stealing food.
Eat.
Yeah,
sit there and eat. They don't even take it with them. They just sit there and eat.
We've had tale after tale after tale of these felons. What do they call them? Criminals? Would they be a felony?
Oh,
are they felons?
I don't.
Whatever
depends
they are.
on what they do. Armed robbery.
I was going to say felons feasting or trying to think of something. Slumbering thieves. That didn't work. I'm going to just move on. Hey, we got another silly story to talk about, and I'm going to think of a better way to end things coming up.
John and Heidi.
We head to Lincoln, Nebraska for our moment of duh, where we talk about a man who jumped from a second-story balcony and broke his legs. Here's what happened. The sheriff's office stopped by this dude's place. He was trying to evade them. Deputies say they went to a Lincoln apartment looking for a suspect in a recent burglary. They knocked and nobody answered. That's when they heard this weird noise. It was a thud from a man that jumped from a balcony and broke his leg when he hit the ground. Not only did cops almost leave, because if he wouldn't have done anything, they would have left, but they also found out that he didn't need to jump because it wasn't even him. Turned out...
Oh, they were at the wrong apartment.
No.
Well, he clearly did something wrong or he wouldn't have been jumping.
He wasn't even the burglary suspect that they were seeking. They were looking for somebody else.
Okay, but he did something wrong.
Apparently. Or he's just got a really guilty conscience. Either way, he's got a little bit of time to think about it while his leg heals. Broken leg from jumping out of the second story.
He did. He was doing something wrong or you wouldn't jump off your balcony when the cops
You would
show
hope
up.
not. No. So there you go.
That's hilarious.
If the police ever come to my place, they
done
can
a little
chat.
more digging.
Yeah. So what are you guilty of? Well,
What'd you do?
Thought maybe you caught me for all of this other stuff. We've got your scoop of the day on the way.
John and Heidi.
If you promised yourself you'd lose weight before you went to the beach, that's still within reach. Get some help from a cool pink drink. Try it free at pinkdrinkfree.com. This pink drink tastes great and can help you lose weight. 8 out of 10 Americans are overweight. If you're tired of being one of them, we'd love to help. People around the country are experiencing amazing results with this pink drink, and you can try it before you buy it at pinkdrinkfree.com. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day. My beautiful bride over here is a former...
Heavyweight champion.
No, not that.
Oh.
What do you call it when you
Olympic swimmer.
No, not that either. You're neither of those things, by the way. Travel agent.
Yes.
That thing.
That too.
So, have you ever heard of Air Asia? I'm assuming it's a airline.
I've never used them for anything.
But have you heard of them?
I've heard of them.
I've never even heard of them. Air Asia kind of sounds like a band from the 80s.
That's
Air Asia. It's what?
Erasure.
Oh, and then there was Asia too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyway, Air Asia flight was shaking like a washing machine. Imagine flying at 30,000 feet when the entire plane starts shaking like an overloaded washing machine. That is exactly what happened to passengers on an Air Asia flight. They experienced this as they flew from Malaysia to Australia. After flying for 90 minutes, the pilot returned to an airport in Australia on Sunday after the plane was shaking like a washing machine. because they were having some engine troubles. The plane had 359 passengers on board. Luckily, they landed safely on Sunday morning. Can you imagine how awful that could have been?
That could have been horrible.
I've been on flights where we've had like weird little noises and things, and like there was one time I heard a thump, and I'm pretty sure we hit a bird. I was like, "Did you hear that?" I'm pretty sure we hit something.
That could be bad too.
Yeah, that could be really bad. But then I was looking out the window. I was like, I can't tell if there's like any damage, but I've never been on one that was shaking like a washing machine. That would be bad. Hey, the world's ugliest dog was just named in California, and this year, guess what kind of dog it was, Heidi?
What's that?
A 125-pound drooling mastiff won the world's ugliest dog contest. Is that a good thing to win the world's ugliest dog contest?
I mean, it doesn't matter. If it comes with money, I don't care. I'd enter my dogs.
Would you? Our dogs are not ugly.
Our dogs are not ugly.
They're adorable. They wouldn't win. World's ugliest dog contest crowned winner Friday night is when this happened. Martha is a 125-pound drooling Neapolitan Mastiff, took home the title along with her handler.
I'm not sure if I know what a Mastiff looks like.
We'll have to Google that, and we'll have to look at it, because I don't know either.
Our Chinese crested hairless might possibly have been
we had a dog that could have, and one of his siblings or whatever, another Chinese crested hairless did win a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So, and ours was uglier than the one that won, because ours had like one eye that was all squinty, and
it was all pussy all the time.
Patches of hair that weren't quite good. It was such a lovable little dog, though.
I thought he was a good dog.
Wasn't very comfy to pet him. A friend of ours described it perfectly. It's like petting a scab. I was like, yeah, it kind of is.
Pretty much.
Like a mini elephant, really. Hey, The Last Night has been winning at the box office, but now it sounds like it didn't do so hot. Transformers no longer the box office. Big shots. The Last Night, the 5th installment of the Hasbro series, scored a franchise low with an estimated $43.5 million over the weekend. And so they didn't do as well as other sequels have done. Speaking of sequels, I wonder if our daughter's going to be excited about this. Pitch Perfect 3.
Oh, she's very excited about it. She loves those movies.
Well, the first trailer is out. I've got a link to it on our Facebook page for all of you who do like that kind of thing. Now, I was just really not into that, but that's not my cup of tea.
No, it's not meant for you.
No, I understand
You're not their
that.
target demographic.
For those of you who don't know what this is, it is it's
acapella. It's a movie about acapella singers.
This is the final in a trilogy. And it's a bunch of singers that are going, facing off against each other. And I'm not exactly sure what else, but apparently all type of hijinks. And I don't know. You can see the trailer if you're
They're
really
cute. They're cute movies. I like the announcers at the acapella contest. They are so funny.
Well, I think that is it somewhat where they just kind of do it off the cuff? I think that a lot of that is like unscripted.
Yeah.
So. And they're really, the people that I'm thinking of on there are really good at that. And finally, 21-year-old Adam Brett Hannock and 19-year-old Vincent Jonathan Whitley, transients from Roseburg, Oregon, stole $900 worth of merchandise, including donuts, from a gas station. And then they offered the donuts to the police. About an hour.
Wow.
About an hour later, the deputies, because they saw these guys and they're like, "You guys, what are you guys up to?" Like, "Oh no, just it's out. Would you like some donuts, officers?" And they offered them. No, we're not going to take your donuts. So an hour later, they're investigating the crime, and the guy at the gas station said, "Well, they stole this, and they stole this, and they stole a bunch of donuts." And they're like, "Wait a minute, I think we know
those guys.
We know who's got this."
That's
the
funny.
geniuses made it a little too easy for the cops that time. So there you go. Coming up, we got some fun facts on the way. Also, we do have a guest coming up here in just a bit. That's all on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
How long's it been since you've been on vacation?
Way too long.
Well, we're going to Punta Cana this November for a cool event called 80s in the Sand.
I'm so looking forward to just being able to relax during the day. All day, every day, for 7 full days. And, as a bonus, get to hear some awesome music at night.
You can also meet some 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and many more.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
That website again is 80sinthesand.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Sleeping is very important. I mean, without it, we would all be really, really, really tired. But just how important? Our guest today, Dr. Greg Wells, has literally written the book on the subject and a couple of other subjects as well. The book is called The Ripple Effect: Eat, Sleep, Move, and Think Better. And Dr. Greg Wells is joining us on the line right now. Dr. Wells, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me on your show.
Well, these are some very important topics. Eating, sleeping, moving, thinking. I mean, without those things, we're not doing much, are we?
Yeah, it's funny. I think it's really the foundation for doing anything else in our lives. Quite often we we sacrifice all of these items that I've talked about, eat, sleep, move, think, in order to do, whatever it is, our work, our family, and other things. But if we do these well, everything else gets easier. So I just would ask people to just think about making a little tiny shift in their lives, and amazing things can happen.
Absolutely. Now, I have had lack of sleep before, and I know that it has affected my life, but, the things that I probably don't even realize had happened are probably more important than just the little grogginess that I noticed. Does a lack of sleep affect our overall health in a major way?
Absolutely. It's amazing that sleep is related to how long we live. So if we get between 7 and 8 hours a night on average, you have the lowest risk of all-cause mortality. So sleep is related to lifespan, which is really quite incredible. And it's also related to things like cancer and cardiovascular disease and diabetes and depression. So it's really important that if we want to be healthy in our lives, we make a little bit of a shift and prioritize sleep. Because if you sleep well, other things cascade afterwards and it becomes easier to be overall healthier, even though you're just focusing on sleep.
So how much sleep should a person get each night? And is it different based on your age and who you are, or is it kind of the same for everybody?
Well, it does change by age. So the National Sleep Foundation just came out with new sleep recommendations, and it shows that sleep during our lifespan changes. Little kids need a ton of sleep. My 2-year-old sleeping, 12 to 15 hours a night. My 7-year-old sleeps a little bit less, 10.5 to 12. Teenagers will typically be in and around the 9-hour zone, ideally. And then as adults, we're looking at between 7 and 8. Once we get a little bit older, sort of into the seniors range, seniors may sleep a little bit less, but still should be shooting overall for that 7 to 8 zone. So that's what seems to be the magic numbers for across all the age spans.
So now I wonder why that is. The older we get, the less sleep we need. I wonder if what the reasoning for that is.
Well, as we grow, when we're really young, there's so many processes happening inside the body related to growth. So bones are growing, muscles are growing, skin is changing, organs are becoming more dense, and especially the brain is constantly rewiring itself. And all of those processes happen when we sleep. We often think of sleep as this passive time when we don't move, but in fact, tons of stuff's happening inside the body, and that's true for adults as well. When we sleep as adults, growth hormones released, which repairs all of the tissues within the body. Leptin and ghrelin are released, 2 hormones that regulate your appetite. Your brain neurons shrink, and the brain cleans itself out. So it's very important at every age, but those growth factors are really important when we're young, and most of that happens when we sleep.
And I suppose you could kind of compare it to like charging a cell phone. When you're younger, you've got all these other things going on, so that'd be like using a lot of different apps. And then as you're older, if you're not using as many, you wouldn't need to charge it as long, I suppose.
That's a perfect analogy. I've never heard that analogy before, but it's exactly the way to think about it. And I love that you brought up that app about, sort of charging a cell phone, because one of the other things I talk about in the book, The Ripple Effect, that's coming out soon, is the idea of meditation and mindfulness, which is exactly like plugging yourself into a cell phone charge. We use that analogy in a different way, just to recharge the brain, get some space between all of the thoughts that are going on in our mind, and get a little bit more mental energy. So it's amazing how all of these factors fit together.
Again, visiting right now with Dr. Greg Wells. He is the author of a new book that just came out. The book is called The Ripple Effect: Eat, Sleep, Move, and Think Better. Now, we're talking right now about sleeping and making sure we get enough sleep. Does it matter if I go to bed at the same time every night, or does it just matter the overall number of hours I get of sleep?
Well, the overall number is the really important thing to go after, but in order to get the right number of hours, I think that, and actually to sleep really well when you are asleep, consistency is magic. You want to be going to bed at roughly the same time every night. I don't even set a morning alarm anymore. I try to wake up naturally. I actually set an evening alarm to remind myself about when I'm supposed to be getting into bed. And I find that's way more effective. So consistency is everything, and getting to bed at the same time of night is really, really, really important.
And, it's funny that you mentioned the setting an evening alarm. I had another guest not too long ago that told me that same thing, and I started doing that, and my phone would chime saying, hey, get ready for bed. And my wife used to make fun of me for that, but the funny thing is we started going to bed earlier, and we both get more sleep now, which is really a cool thing. So I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, and even big companies like Apple have started to make that shift. If you look at the iPhone and you go into the clock app, in the very center at the bottom, there's a bedtime alarm that you can use now. So even some of the bigger companies that are building these cell phones that we all use all the time are getting on board with this idea and incorporating it into their operating system.
Well, Dr. Wells, thank you for chatting with us. I know we just talked mainly about the sleep part, and there's several other parts of the book. If somebody would like to pick up a copy and read this, where do they find a copy of The Ripple Effect, Eat, Sleep, Move, and Think Better?
They can get it on Amazon. It's up now for ebook. The hard copy will be out shortly, and you can get all sorts of details at my website, drgregwells.com.
Well, thank you again for taking the time to chat with us, sir.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Again, Dr. Greg Wells, and the book is available right now, The Ripple Effect, Eat, Sleep, Move, and Think Better. And I've got a link to it on our social media. Thank you so much for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Would you like custom t-shirts for an event or sports team? We understand that usually the budget's not unlimited. We have full-color custom printed t-shirts for just $7 each. That's one of the best prices you'll find anywhere. No minimum orders, so you can print just one or print 1,000. The price is just $7 per shirt with a minimal setup fee per design. Make the memories of your next event last forever or help your team look amazing with a little help from CustomShirtInc.com. That's CustomShirtInc.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The prairie dog is the only North American rodent that can bark. No, I don't think so. I think our dogs are both rodents and they can bark. They bark a lot. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Spain is ruled by monarchs. Like butterflies? Oh, that's not what you're talking about? Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The head of Salmon P. Chase was on the $10,000 U.S. bill. So the U.S. $10,000 bill, Salmon P. Chase, that's who was on there. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Both Jeffrey Atkins and Ja Rule played Edwin in The Fast and the Furious. Oh, let me try that again. It says, I read that completely wrong. Born Jeffrey Atkins, Ja Rule played Edwin in The Fast and the Furious. So not both. It's just one guy, but he has two names. That's why I was confused. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
I'm not exactly sure why all of these things have to do with movies, but the movie Short Circuit features Fisher Stevens, Ali Sheedy, and Steve Guttenberg.
I used to love that movie.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking to see. I don't understand.
It's just facts.
Okay.
It's just fun facts. It's all right.
And are you ready for your final fun fact?
I
then?
am.
Fun
Edge of
fact
my
for you,
seat.
Heidi.
What's that, John?
Seth Green, star of Austin Powers movies, also played a werewolf on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay,
I
there you go.
I did not know that. Couple of fun facts brought to you by pinkdrinkfree.com. Not just another diet, it's a way of life. pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
If you promised yourself you'd lose weight before you went to the beach, that's still within reach. Get some help from a cool pink drink. Try it free at pinkdrinkfree.com. This pink drink tastes great and can help you lose weight. 8 out of 10 Americans are overweight. If you're tired of being one of them, we'd love to help. People around the country are experiencing amazing results with this pink drink, and you can try it before you buy it at pinkdrinkfree.com. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We appreciate you joining us. What is your favorite processed food product, Heidi? Do you have one?
Probably Velveeta cheese.
Oh, yeah, you do like that.
I do.
I made some really good grilled cheese using some Velveeta cheese and my waffle iron.
I know you're not supposed to like Velveeta because it's like one of those things that you're supposed to hide when you're checking out at the grocery store, but I love it.
She stacks them up like bricks. She's like, I need eight boxes of Velveeta.
It's good on just about everything.
You know,
it's awesome.
It is yummy stuff. Anyway, I have for you a list of the worst, most unhealthy processed foods. So if these are your favorites, I am so sorry. Spray can easy cheese. It is not good for you.
That's not
I
Velveeta.
can't even. No, but I can't even necessarily pronounce all of the things on here, which is not a shocker because I can't pronounce many things. But trisodium phosphate.
We don't need to know what's in it. We just need to know it's not good for you.
All right. How about?
I don't think anybody thought it was a health food to begin with.
How about Oreo cookie death filling? Well, just with the word death in there,
I've
that's
heard that the filling is like it's basically just Crisco.
that's what they said. It's sugar flavored Crisco, pretty much. How about condensed soups? Yeah. A bunch of the different condensed soups from Campbell's and other condensed soup folks says they recommend 890 milligrams of sodium, 37% of your daily recommended sodium in one can that's condensed. How about Spam? Our son loves Spam.
He loves it.
Says
I knew this stuff
this
wasn't good
meat-like
for
goo
you.
derives 80% of its calories from fat and delivers a whopping 790 milligrams of sodium per 2-ounce serving. Here's what our son does. I'm not
He
saying you
doesn't
should.
eat much at a time.
No,
though.
he opens a can and leaves it in the fridge, making the entire refrigerator stink for like 2 weeks at a time. And he puts it in a little Ziploc bag, but he doesn't seal it. Have you noticed this?
Yeah, he just kind of
Why is that even on
over
there?
The top.
And then he microwaves it with rice.
He just cuts up little tiny chunks of
He
it.
takes a
mixes it
spoon
in
and
with
scoops
his
it out. He
rice.
doesn't cut. He scoops it out, and he'll even like scoop out some and eat it. I'm like,
Gross.
that just doesn't even look good.
It's
All right.
bacon Spam.
Yeah, that's the kind he likes. And he puts it in rice and microwaves it and stinks
Gross.
up the house. Two more things on the list. Artificially flavored blueberry bits that you find in like frozen waffles. Those things are not good for you. And Kraft avocado-free guacamole. That's
So
also
then Velveeta is still...
apparently. It's not on this
Okay.
list. So, hey, that I believe now it's a health food. There you go. No, it's just not on the worst of the worst list. Got some more fun stuff to talk about on the way.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at ChannelSurferTV.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. I got a diet plan for you here from Fitness RX, Heidi. It says consuming high-protein meals 6 times a day for 56 days caused a larger decrease in body fat and abdominal fat than consuming meals containing moderate amounts of protein 3 times a day. So saying more protein more often. Paul Acero from Skidmore College in Saratoga Springs, New York, published in Obesity. I believe that's a journal. Energy intake for subjects in both groups was reduced by 25% during the last 28-day experiment. The most significant finding in the study was that lean body mass increased in the high-protein frequent meal group. Recent study from Phillips and co-workers from Manchester University in Canada, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, showed high-intensity exercise plus caloric restriction triggered substantial changes in body composition and strength.
You think?
And that changes the most significance if there is a high-protein diet. So there you go. All of that. So they're saying if you eat
Diet
well
and exercise
your tushy off, don't be surprised
You're
if
gonna lose some weight.
tushy falls off.
John and Heidi.
Heidi, I have a silly criminal story for you here. I know I
Okay.
don't usually share those this time of the program, but I've got one that I just have to share
All right.
because it makes me smile. A not very smart 22-year-old man stole a taser from a police cruiser, which right
Okay.
there is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Then decided to videotape himself and his father tasing each other. So this 22-year-old kid and his dad decided, hey, let's have some fun. So they videotaped this, and then they put it on YouTube. They made it really, really easy for the police officers to find their taser and, do their job and arrest these guys. So that's just not the brightest bulb on the old Christmas
You know what?
tree.
If you're going to steal anything, you're not super bright.
No,
So-
exactly. You don't do that. And especially if you're going to steal something and then videotape yourself using the thing you just stole and then post it on a social media sharing page, like a YouTube kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not very good idea. I mean, just not very
Oh,
good.
goodness.
Oh, boy. To be young and dumb again.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, I never was. So I guess I probably still is. Anyway, coming up, we've got another story talking about how bad food can be for you. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
How long's it been since you've been on vacation?
Way too long.
Well, we're going to Punta Cana this November for a cool event called 80s in the Sand.
I'm so looking forward to just being able to relax during the day. All day, every day for 7 full days. And, as a bonus, get to hear some awesome music at night.
You can also meet some 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and many more.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
That website again is 80sinthesand.com.
John and Heidi.
For those of you who want to be healthy, they say you might want to cut back on cheeseburgers. According to this story, men and women who eat a lot of meat and cheese in their middle ages, so I believe, what is middle ages? Would that be in the 40s,
40s.
50s? In their middle age, appear to risk a shortened lifespan. But the opposite is true for the elderly. This is so bizarre. Health Day News reports that researchers from the University of Southern California concluded that a low-protein diet in your middle ages helps prevent cancer and overall mortality or death. However, in old age, a high-protein diet is better for maintaining a healthy weight and protecting bones from being frail.
Now, didn't we just read a story telling people that you should eat 6 meals of protein a day?
If you're trying to lose weight, that was a thing, yeah.
But you'll die. So
well,
you'll lose weight, but you'll die.
Wow, think about how much lighter you're going to be with no life in you. The study found those who are 65 and older consume a diet high in animal protein had a 60% lower risk of dying from cancer and a 28% lower risk from death from any cause compared to those who had low protein diet at that age. I just think it is so bizarre, and it's almost like whatever they're looking for they find in these studies. Like, I'm trying to prove that cheeseburgers are good for you. Okay. You give me enough money, I'll prove that for you.
It's most ridiculous.
We did a story with a guy, Zombie Science. That's the name of his book. You remember this?
Uh-huh.
I had a link on our social media. I'm sure it's still there. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. But we had on that, posted on that page, a link to his book. In the book, he talked about how there are some scientists, they're literally like scientists for hire. You know, you fund the research and I'll tell you whatever you want me to tell you. I think that's really scary.
Yeah.
So then how do you trust any of the research?
Well, you can't.
Well, you can if it's from a credible source, but how do you know who's credible now? I mean, I always like to see who funded the study because I think it's always funny when they're talking about...
What? It doesn't matter where it came from. Figures don't lie, but liars can figure. So it does not matter.
But I always think it's interesting to find out...
Unless you've done the study yourself, you just can't trust people.
But
that's where we're at in this society.
There was a study not too long ago that talked about... It said, I remember the headline said, the beards are done. Women now prefer clean-shaven men, so the beard fad is over. And then when you get done, it said a study conducted by Bic razors. I'm like, well, of course that's what they're going to say. I mean, what do you? They profit from selling their razors.
You know what? That's a study that I would do as well, and I would come to the same conclusion.
I just think you got to be careful who does a study. Good news. We've got some good news on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is really good news. About a year ago, Brett and Michelle Rizowski taught their son, Connor, how to call 911 in case of emergency. This was a really smart move on Mom's part, because Mom is alive today because of their 9-year-old son. He did exactly that about a week ago. Michelle, who is 34, she's 8 weeks pregnant with their 4th child. She had a medical emergency while Brett was at work. Connor, her 9-year-old kid, quickly stepped up and calmly dialed 911 and then called his dad. Brett said his son maintained his composure while he was on the phone with 911 dispatchers. He then called his father and said, "Dad, I had to call 911. Mommy's not okay. You need to leave work immediately." It sounds like my kind of 9-year-old. One of their friends saw an ambulance and followed it to the house to help with Connor and his 2 younger brothers. Calling 911 saved Michelle's life. As doctors say, another 15 to 20-minute delay, and she probably would not have made it. How crazy is that? Michelle was diagnosed with Moya-Moya disease. M-O-Y-A. I've never heard of that. Have you?
I have not either.
It's caused by blocked arteries at the base of the brain. She's had one surgery and will need another one at some point. She's okay for now, but remains in neurocritical unit at the Providence St. Vincent Medical Center. As for her son Connor, Brett says, "He's my hero. He is totally my hero." I think that is really cool. So the odds of them teaching this kid about a year ago how important it is. He's 9. Wait, when you were 9?
Is 9? I mean, you're 5 in kindergarten. Now that would be impressive. He's 9. He's in what? 4th, 5th grade? What is 9? I mean, if he doesn't know how to call 911.
Are you serious? You're not impressed at all?
No.
You're kidding me. 15-year-old son calling 9. Really? We just taught our 19-year-old son how to. Really? My son's 20 and he still doesn't mow the lawn. I'm just saying, I think it's pretty darn cool.
Nice of him that he cared to call 911, but he should have known how.
Well, thank you.
I mean, I'd be impressed if her dog did it.
This was the good news, remember?
It's good news that she survived. That's awesome. But
it's good news.
You can't tell me that he shouldn't have known how to call 911.
Would you just say goodbye or whatever you do? Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Oh, boy. I think it's awesome, little 9-year-old boy. Little 9-year-old boys everywhere, learn how to call 911. Thanks for listening, and little girls, too, and everybody else that's 9. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
Time now for a bonus break on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a couple special guests joining us today. We've got some millennials, Ross Johnson and Rachel Bell from Trillmedia. They live in San Diego, and they do a lot of stuff with social media, and we got them on the line right now. How are you folks doing today?
Doing so good, John. How are you?
Very, very good. And for several of the people that are listening that are my age and older, it just kind of catches me funny that it's Ross and Rachel. It's kind of like friends. So you guys said, and Rachel, you said you've never seen the show before, have you?
No, so I was a bit confused, as you can probably imagine, when people start freaking out and saying, really?
Ross and Rachel? And you've never seen Friends? No, you'll have to check it out one of these days. Hey, now let's talk about Instagram. That's kind of a big, huge social media platform these days. And that's one that I just don't quite understand myself. I'm on Facebook and we're on Twitter and all of that, but Instagram is a big one. Tell me a little bit about why that's so big and why people maybe should be on Instagram.
Sure. So you're right. Instagram is actually a very hot topic right now. And because of that, it actually is the fastest growing social media network of today. So a lot of people are hopping on. A lot of people are realizing its power because, for several reasons, one of which is that it has the highest engagement rate out of any social media platform. And it's highly visual. So as you can imagine, if you're a business working with customers, or if you're just an individual with family members and friends who are on Instagram, a picture says 1,000 words. So it's really a great way for you to get to know someone and see what they want to be known for, what kind of content they're putting out there, just, on their free time or as a business, and what they really stand for. So it's becoming a really powerful network to connect one another and really explain those values in a picture rather than explaining it all in words on other social media platforms.
And I believe Instagram is owned by Facebook because they signed me up for an account. I got this message saying that I was on Instagram. I was like, I am? I didn't sign up for Instagram. But is that owned by Facebook? Is that why there's that connection there?
Yep, and that's a big part of the reason why they're able to grow it so fast.
Yeah, because they've got access to everybody that's on Facebook, and there's a ton of people on there, and they're trying to migrate some of the people over to Instagram now. Now, as a small business, if there's a business owner listening that's not utilizing social media, why should they consider utilizing Instagram, even for a brick-and-mortar store?
Yeah, so Instagram is actually rolling out a lot of features and making it very easy for people who are doing local and small business things to kind of just connect with the audience and the community very easily, just by using things like hashtags in their photos that maybe people in their town are like town-specific hashtags, tagging their location. It makes it very easy for people who are using the platform to kind of go on there and find businesses and find people who are doing great things. And also people can pop up on the local stories, which is just kind of like pictures that disappear, and it's kind of like a daily snapshot of a lot of different people's lives. So they can kind of get on there and get a lot of exposure locally as well. One other thing that local businesses can kind of do is reach out to people through direct message on Instagram, because you can message anyone, and people get them and people read them. And it's just a really great way to kind of directly give back to the community if you want to kind of give a discount or a coupon or something like that to get people in your store.
That's really cool. And there's a lot of people who have utilized Instagram the right way to kind of become Insta-famous. I mean, they get on there and they've got these amazing followings. And even if it's just in your own local community, if you've got quite a following on there, there's a lot you can do. It's a pretty powerful way to influence people, isn't it?
Yeah, that's totally correct. I mean, we know 16-year-olds who are making seven figures, multiple seven figures, just doing modeling gigs because their Instagram is their modeling portfolio, or perhaps they're really good at social media and so they're known by everyone else that they're good at social media and they make funny skits or something like that. So it's becoming a world of opportunities that we've never seen before.
And I read an article not too long ago that was talking about how kids today, when I was a kid and you asked young children, what do you want to be when you grow up? They would say things like fireman and doctor, and there were all these things that were quote unquote normal. And now when you talk to kids about what they want to be when they grow up, a lot of them want to be social media celebrities. And that was like one of the top 3 things that was answered by both boys and girls, which amazed me.
Right, and they're doing it, though. They're accomplishing it, which is amazing to me. So there's a lot of possibility out there. A lot of kids who are, digital natives who have never known the world without internet are definitely taking advantage of the possibilities now and becoming, like you said, social media celebrities, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. Again, visiting right now with Ross Johnson and Rachel Bell from Trillmedia. Now, you guys do quite a bit of stuff with social media, and you're actually doing a little contest to help local businesses. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're running a contest where we're giving away over $3,000 worth of Instagram help. So we have 3 prizes that we want to give away to your listeners and anyone who decides to sign up for the contest. The first prize, the grand prize, is that we will manage and grow your Instagram account for 1 entire month, and that's normally anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500. So we're excited to give that away to the winner. And then the second prize is you'll get access to our online training course on how to do it yourself. So this is great for anyone who wants to grow their Instagram account and learn all the ins and outs of how it works. That's a $9.97 value. And then the third prize is we're going to give you a custom shout-out to our audience of over 450,000 people on our Instagram accounts. And we'll be able to shout out your business, send you some traffic, and give you some more brand awareness, or whatever you want to use that shout-out for. So, again, those are 3 prizes. And if you did want to go up and sign up to the contest, you can go to trillmediateam.com/giveaway. And
Nice.
then you'll be able to enter.
Again, trillmediateam.com/giveaway.
That's right.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much for taking some time to visit with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for
John.
having us.
Absolutely. Again, Ross and Rachel. It was Ross Johnson and Rachel Bell from Trillmedia, and they're doing a fun little contest right now. So if you'd like to know more about that, you can check out their website. And I suppose they can follow you on social media. How do we find you guys on social media?
We have lots of different profiles across Instagram, but if you want to find us on social media, the best way to do that is to visit our website and just send us an email, and we'll get connected with you right away. And that's trillmediateam.com.
All right. Very cool. And again, website is trillmediateam.com. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show.